So I'm going to start off with asking, do you guys like making money? Do you guys want to be your own boss and be on your own time, or do you just want to be someone else's punk, boss's punk? Because if the answer is yes, then entrepreneurship is for you. And obviously there's more than that. It's not just, being your own boss. It's a lot more than that. So I'm going to start off by saying there's a very famous quote by Laura Greener, who's an entrepreneur. She says, as an entrepreneur, I'd rather work 80 hours a week than working 40 hours a week. Now you're probably looking at me like, why the hell am I going to want to work more? Now let me tell you why those 80 hours a week is more important than working 40 hours a week, which is typical in a 9-to-5 job. So in 80 hours a week, as an entrepreneur, you're probably going to have several incomes. You're not just going to have one income like any regular job. Several incomes, that means you're going to have, for example, you're going to have passive income, which is, it doesn't take a lot of physical work, but it's going to take some smarts in your time, such as renting a house out, real estate, blogging, starting a blog, or writing a book. Then there's earned income, which is the regular, the job doers, which is, working at local where I used to work at, starting a small business, which I think is probably the best one if you're going to do earned income, is starting a small business, because at least you have that little, is just having business. But as an earned income, generally, you're not going to be having a lot of abundance. You're just going to have enough to get by as earned income. And then there's all sorts of things, as royalties, there's capital gains, which is stocks. Investors will invest in a stock. They'll think it's undervalued, and then they'll just hope in time it's going to just skyrocket and they can sell for a higher price. So as entrepreneurship, they're all doing this in their 80 hours. And even though it does take a little bit more work in those 80 hours, in the long run, you're going to be gaining way more money. And the biggest thing that separates an entrepreneur from just a regular person is a regular person, they work for the money. But as an entrepreneur, the money works for them. So that's the biggest difference, the different aspects of just working just as an earned income compared to passive income. And then capital gains, we'll continue what I was talking about. So in the class here, Fullerton actually offers a certificate for entrepreneurship. You could find, if you need help in finding it, you could go to the guidance counselor. But first, I'm going to talk about what the class is about, and then I'm going to talk about how to gain the resources to get to that class, or anything you had questions on. So the first one, for entrepreneurship, 3 main ideas I'm going to tell you about. The first one is there's formal planning to how to start a business plan. The second one is it gives you a good foundation of just every kind of business. And then the third one is it gives you more of a feeling of how to network and how to just build entrepreneurship skills. Now, what are entrepreneurship skills? In that class, it'll teach you what a formal plan is it'll build a formal business plan. And build a formal business plan looks more professional, and it doesn't look like you just half-assed it. So if you take it to a bank, you could get a loan for it, and you can start your business. Now for the second one, with building a good foundation, is with the entrepreneurship class at Fullerton. It'll teach you all about the factors of production. It'll teach you about what are factors of production. Well, entrepreneurs, they utilize the factors of production, which is land, labor, and capital. So land is just natural resources. Labor is your time that you give, and then there's capital, which is the goods that they make and they transfer to other goods. And then there's enterprise. That's where the entrepreneurs come in, but they calculate the factors of production, and they estimate how much they can maximize the profit, and they're taking a risk. And that's the thing. Entrepreneurs takes a lot of risks. So in this class, you'll learn about all those things, about how to build a business plan, how to build a foundation of just all the things you'll learn about in entrepreneurship skills, and you'll also learn about the factors of production and how you could utilize that as an entrepreneur. Now, for just helping to find, how could you even find this? Where do I start? Well, you could go to the Academic Support Center, and they'll just help you if you have difficult classes and anything. Entrepreneurship is probably kind of difficult, but you could probably get it. It's going to teach you, it can teach you anything where your class is at. It can help you find where you want to go, how to excel. You can also go to the library, the school library. You can look up any entrepreneurship skills. And you can also go to the counseling center, which they individually will help you out and see how you can reach your highest potential. So as an entrepreneur in this class, why is it good? What makes an entrepreneur so good? Why is it such a good job? Not even a job, it's kind of like you being your own boss. It's because as an entrepreneurship, it's going to teach you how to be a leader. It's going to force you to have leadership skills. And it's going to teach you all sorts of things that just discipline you in life. And it will separate you from just working as your time as using your labor, and you could use your mind, and you could have your money work for you, and you could employ people, and you could be at home maybe doing your passive income, sitting at home doing a blog or whatever, and then you could have earned income, and you could combine both, and you could combine all sorts of incomes to just build this, several incomes and have a bunch of profit coming in. So in the entrepreneurship class, this is what all it's going to teach you, and with all the support that the school can provide for you, with all the academic support centers, the counseling centers, the entrepreneurship skills, this could all utilize you to, you don't even probably have to be in college in maybe 3 years. You can be in college for 4 years and get a bachelor's, but you can even look up a list of famous entrepreneurs that dropped out of college. And Tommy Hilfiger, cool story about him, is in the 1980s, everyone knows Tommy Hilfiger, that they got expensive ass clothes. But in the 1980s, they started off with bell bottoms, and he was selling for just, like normal price, like $10, $55 back in the 1970s. And no one was buying them. No one was like interested in them. And then he had an idea. He was like, maybe if I skyrocket the price, more prominent people, more rich people will wear it. And he did that, and it blew up. Like people started buying it, and then now, if you wear Tommy, it looks like you kind of have some status. And that's the whole thing about entrepreneurship. They know what people want. They know how people work. They know they know how to network. They have good social skills. They have good communication skills. They take risks, and that's the thing that separates just from being a laborer, just a normal 9-to-5 worker compared to an entrepreneur. That they have different leadership skills that not just normal people will have, like Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Like even though those guys are the ones that make America in this capitalistic society. They run the country. Like if you really think about it, entrepreneurs run the country. They influence politicians. They can even bribe politicians. Businessmen have so much money. They have more money than actually politicians themselves. So it's crazy to think that entrepreneurships can actually run a country. But as long as you're not trying to do bad for other people, as long as you're just being a philanthropist and just trying to help society as a whole, I think entrepreneurship would be great for you. Just for helping society, for helping your family, to just living more comfortably, a little more stress, but in the long run, you'll be living way more abundant.